People around the world are remembering Pope Francis. We actually have a live look for you right now at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican there. It's early in the morning right now. It's now been 24 hours, nearly 24 hours, since the pontiff's death was first announced by the Vatican. Pope Francis died just weeks after a long hospital stay.
And tonight we are learning what ultimately led to his death at the age of 88. According to a death certificate issued by the Vatican, the pontiff died of a stroke that prompted irreversible heart failure. The certificate officially lists the cause of death as cerebral stroke, coma, and cardiocirculatory collapse. It also lists Pope Francis's prior health struggles, including the bilateral pneumonia he was recently hospitalized for, as well as hypertension and type 2 diabetes. Pope Francis died just hours after he blessed the faithful during Easter services in St. Peter's Square. The Vatican releasing the text of his final testament, in which he confirmed his wish to be buried in an underground tomb in Rome's Basilica of St. Mary Major. Now, Pope Francis was a trailblazer. He was the first pontiff to hail from the Americas. He was a native of Argentina. He was also the first Jesuit to become pope. Catholics around the world, including the new Archbishop of Boston, Richard Henning, are remembering Pope Francis.
This is a man who himself was inspired by Jesus Christ and called by him to serve his church and his people. And that's what you see running through the whole of his life, not just as Pope, but as a priest before. But I think in terms of this own man's response to that call, there's a very strong component of a deep humility and a deep compassion for others, especially those who are most vulnerable.
During his 12-plus-year tenure, Pope Francis was considered a progressive by many.
Yeah, he advanced many controversial causes such as immigrant and LGBTQ rights, even climate change. NBC Boston's Aaron Logan is going to pick up our coverage for us from outside of the Cathedral of the Holy Cross tonight in Boston. Aaron?
Colton, there's no question Pope Francis was known for showing support for the poor, for all people, even embracing the LGBTQ community. Some are hopeful that his successor will continue to advance progressive causes. Others are fearful. On Easter Sunday, Pope Francis seen here.
He served until his last breath.
Hours later, more than 1 billion Catholics are mourning. UMass Boston's Chancellor Marcelo Suarez Orozco says the Pope's last word to him in person was adelante, meaning,
Marcelo, we need to move forward.
Catholic or not, that's what people are hoping for during these difficult times.
I was quite dismayed.
Reverend Irene Monroe is a Christian who has led the Cambridge LGBTQ Plus Commission.
Let me tell you the good things he did. I mean, he decriminalized homosexuality in a way that needed to be, particularly when we're talking about many more of those conservative countries in the global South. He said, let's bless same-sex couples, but let's just stop short of marriage.
Reverend Monroe believes Pope Francis wanted to give full support, but was tethered to the bureaucracy of the church. As far as migrants, she applauds him for criticizing the Trump administration for its plans to carry out mass deportations. Pope Francis was also outspoken against climate change, casting blame on wealthy countries for global warming. As for the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal,
he promised, transparency, and he didn't do that.
She feels for survivors like Skip Shea. Shea is already concerned about the future.
A lot of the American cardinals are very, very, right-wing, so it's just going to get, the cover-up's just going to be worse.
Monroe envisions this.
Pope, I'm not ageist at all, but a younger one that really faces, less of the church and more of the people.
The whole world now waiting to see who will be Pope Francis' successor. He will be chosen at a papal conclave. Live in Boston tonight, Aaron Logan, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Aaron, thank you. So what exactly is a conclave? For those who haven't seen the Oscar-winning film, it's a process that's expected to start actually within the next 2 to 3 weeks. This is footage from the last conclave. That was in 2013 when Pope Francis would ultimately be selected. But it's a very secretive process, but what we do know is that it's held in the Sistine Chapel, and a series of secret ballot votes are held. They keep being held until the majority have selected the same name. At that point, the black smoke that has been billowing from a chimney at the Vatican turns white, alerting the crowds outside that a new pope has been chosen. And you can stay with our team here at NBC Tim Boston on the air and online for continuing coverage of the death of Pope Francis. On our website, you can actually read more about his life and his legacy and what comes next at the Vatican. Just go to NBCTimBoston.com or download our free app.